Welcome back to our channel, guys. I'm a homemaker, a wife, a mother to 2 children, 2 and under, and I just take you along today as I clean up my house, get things tidied and in order, and make some of my husband's favorite winter casserole. Hope you guys enjoy. Good morning, friends. It's a new day, things to clean up, things to do. Basically, I need to do laundry, clean the house. I'm gonna make some dinner for tonight, so maybe if you want to see that recipe, you'll want to stay tuned for that. And just do some overall tidying up. So if you need some cleaning motivation, hopefully this will get you going and get you wanna start working on your own house. So let's get started. Typically on cleaning days, I always start the day out by getting the laundry going. I don't know what it is, but there's something about getting the laundry going that I just like to do. I think it's because, it could be because of the pattern, or it could be just because I know once I get it going, that's one thing that's checked off the list, and it can be working on cleaning and washing while I'm doing other stuff. I used some of the new detergent that I just made in the last video, I can link it, and we were pretty happy with how the clothes came out. So I would highly recommend that. If you're looking to switch your detergents, that's a good one to give it to try and see what you think. I'll just go ahead and say, for any of you guys that are new to this channel, I really enjoy putting together homemaking type videos, so I hope you enjoy and stick around. Maybe you'll get some inspiration, or maybe you'll have some ideas or info that you can share with me. So I hope you guys will subscribe and enjoy the different videos that come out. Part of getting things in order was just putting different items away. I had found these shirts at Walmart. I was pretty happy. They were a pretty decent price. So I got 2 sets of each, one for my regular size and then one for when I'm pregnant and don't fit into my regular size anymore. So I try to do that now when there's something I really like, trying to buy size up. But anyways, here you see me just emptying out a container that had some dessert squares in it. So I needed to get the container washed, so I just moved them into a different container to store in the fridge. And then I needed to process this yogurt. Unfortunately, it did not set. So you will notice as I poured into the straining bag, it basically poured right out. So yeah, that did not work. It's kind of weird because sometimes my yogurt turns out great, and other times it turns out like this. Almost more like a kefir in consistency, I would say. Like a runny yogurt. So yeah, like I said, it didn't turn out. I just ended up pouring it into jars and throwing it into the fridge and then using it for milkshakes or eating with granola. It's really good with granola. Anyways, I hate to waste stuff like this. I could maybe have run it through again another time and brought it back up to temperature, added some more yogurt, but I didn't really feel like doing that this time. I was like, let's just get it in the jars and get it put away. Did you see my little girl, the way she like cranes her head back and forth? That's a new thing she likes to do. It's the cutest thing ever. To be honest, I was struggling at where to start because I needed to do the dishes. I also needed to empty the dishwasher and clear the counters. But I knew I couldn't do the dishes until I emptied the dishwasher, so you know, you have to think about it for a second and then it's like, okay, I know what to do now. It did take a little bit to get going, I will say. Sometimes I find it's super motivating to make these cleaning videos because I get cleaning done in my own home and it's awesome. But other times I struggle to get going because I'm like, there's just so much to do. Where do you start? I'm sure I'm not alone in that there are other people like that. I just had so many random things. Like I needed to put away breakfast, like the leftover oatmeal from breakfast. And then I had grain sitting on the counter I needed to strain, which I was dying to strain, but I needed to clean the sink first, get the sink emptied, and so it's just, one thing at a time, isn't it? It's really amazing what can happen when you think about, okay, they say you're not supposed to compare, but sometimes when you compare, it makes you realize how grateful you are for where you're at in life. When I think about other people that aren't able to be at home, who have a job, they have responsibilities, then I'm like so glad that I have the ability and the freedom to work from home, to be a homemaker and a wife, and to be a homemaker and to do things like keeping the house clean and in order. Sometimes it feels like it's endless, never ending, but I just had an epiphany, kind of. It's kind of like labor, where things are difficult, and then you'll have a break, and then things are hard again, and then you'll have a break. There's seasons, and I feel like God is so good to just sustain in those really hard times when things are really rough, and when there's just a lot going on, or maybe you're overwhelmed or overloaded. I'm just reminded to go back and to ask Him for help, which I hate how much I just go to Him when there's problems or things are hard, Trying to, when things are going really well, to remember to thank Him for that. Anyways, got a little deep there. But next up, I had some sprouted grain. I've been experimenting with that. I might do a video of it at some point, but I was pretty excited to see some of the grains starting to get little sprouts, so that was kind of fun. I don't have the proper equipment for it. I was trying to find a strainer or find the type of lid for one of these big jars that had holes in it. I may just need to quite literally drill holes into one of the lids, and then it would be able to drain. But in the meantime, I'm just using strainers and whatever I can find that makes it easy for the water to drain out and for air to get in. One of the gazillion things I needed to do was to dump the egg whites into the glass jar. I buy these from Costco in bulk. I just buy a whole bunch of them at Costco and freeze them so I have them on hand. And then I like to keep them in this glass jar just so I can see what I've got in this fridge. And periodically, as it empties out, pull out some more from outside in the freezer. Then I had cooked up some sweet potatoes, and I needed to get those put away. They were like sugar crystals, and I actually felt like I got pricked pretty bad when I opened up the one container because it got in my thumb, and I was like, that felt like glass. But they were perfect, they were all cooled and ready to go into the fridge. Lately I've been enjoying using them as my lunches. I just throw them in a blender with some milk, protein, that kind of thing, sweetener, maple extract, and pumpkin spice, and basically making pretty much a fall pumpkin spice shake, but it's pretty good. I enjoy having those. So ahead of time, I had soaked some quinoa and just dumped a bit of apple cider vinegar in it and let it soak overnight. Actually, I think it soaked for like 2 days because I couldn't quite get to it. So anyways, I just drained the water off, rinsed it a couple times, and then put it in a pot on the stove to cook. It's going to be one of the main ingredients in the casserole coming up. I also got some chicken going because I was going to be using that in the casserole as well. Time kind of got away from me, and unfortunately the quinoa did burn on the bottom, but I was just kind of scraped the top and I was able to get a good bit out of it without getting any of the burnt portion. So since this meal is just going to be for us, I wasn't worried about any burnt flavor, which I'll tell you, we just had it for dinner tonight and it was really good. I don't think anyone noticed. I didn't even think about it till I was back to editing the video, and then I was like, oh yeah, that quinoa was kind of burnt.
So I've got a recipe I'm gonna make. It's like cheesy chicken casserole or something like that. And I really like it because it's low fat, even though it doesn't taste like it at all. It's super cheesy. Super cheesy. It tastes really cheesy. So if you like cheese, this would be a great one for you. It uses quinoa, which is an awesome anti-inflammatory seed. Is it a seed? I don't think it's a grain. Anyways, got my chicken cooked. I have the quinoa cooked. So let's go ahead and compile it. Are you gonna help me?
This recipe I came across on Facebook. I will be sure to share a link for it in the description. I was going to use the recipe from my cookbook, but I couldn't find it, so I had to end up pulling out my phone and going off that one instead. It's one of those that my husband really likes, and typically I feel like guys tend to be a bit more sensitive to healthy food or things that might be viewed as healthy. So anyways, when he likes something, I know that's always a really good sign. I think partly it's because this recipe has mushrooms in it, but it's one of those old favorites I forgot about for a while, and then the other day I was reminded of it and was like, I should do that again. So anyways, I took the frozen onion mix, pepper mix, chopped those up. Call me weird, but I chopped them up when they were frozen, threw those on a skillet, and then I started to just chop up the cooked chicken breast. I don't know if you're around to see the video of me pulverizing up some garlic, but that's the garlic I put in the skillet. That was from the freezer. I'll link that video as well. When I was scooping out the quinoa, this is the point at which I realized how badly it was burnt. I was like, oh no! So I had to stop and quick pull out those burnt pieces that landed in the bowl. Anyways, I added my tomato puree to the bowl. I had to get out a second jar because I had used up the first one. Basically, there's a way to open a can so you don't cut yourself. Typically, the way my can opener seemed to work, it seemed like it would be, instead of flush with the top of the can, it would be more with the side. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I tried changing it and doing it with this method that I saw online, and it did not work. Every time I ripped up the cans, and I'd have to call my husband and be like, can you get this open? Because they were so messed up. And then the last time I tried it, I actually broke the can opener. Okay, so I guess some of these tricks or hacks aren't always hacks. Maybe it's just the can opener I had. But if you guys know what I'm talking about, just be forewarned. Because, I don't know, we basically lost a can opener because of doing that. It's kind of funny. We also realized how often we use a can opener, and it was greatly missed until I could buy another one. One thing I love about this dish is how low in fat it is. Now, when we went to eat it, I did add cheese to the top, so it ended up being more crossover because of the fat from that. But overall, it's a very delicious, tasty dish. It would be awesome if you don't want something really heavy and stuff like that. This would be the perfect one to do. It's super flavorful and very moist. Maybe that's a bad descriptive word to use. It's just very, very tasty. It's not dry. Let's put it that way. This is one that definitely serves more than just our family. So I did one dish for one of our meals, which we just ate that one tonight. We ate almost all of it. There was one serving left. And then the rest I dumped into some tin containers because we will use that for freezer meals. I'll throw them in the freezer because it's so helpful to have those on hand for days when you're just not feeling 100%, or maybe you're tired, or you're out most of the day and you need something quick for supper. This really helps to have things like this on hand. When you would go to serve it, then you would add cheese for sure and serve it with a side salad, or we had it with some roasted sweet potatoes, and that was very, very tasty. And then back to the laundry it was. I discovered I had forgotten to grab my little girl's stash of clothes that was by her changing station, so I ended up getting one more load started and going because of that. When it comes to the floor, it's amazing how quickly things build up. I love our wood floors, but they definitely show lots of dirt, so I probably don't sweep as often as I should. But it is satisfying though when I do sweep, because it's like, wow, there's a lot of stuff on the floor. What is it about watching cleaning videos that is just so satisfying? You guys know, even as I was editing this video, when I was watching the mopping, I was like, oh, I could just sit and watch that. Just watch her mop. And it's like, what is it? Why is that? I don't know. I know I'm not the only one, because if you look at the amount of cleaning videos there are on YouTube, I know it's a pretty common thing. Is it something about watching a job get done? Even stuff like just watching me clean up the living room, the dining room table. Yeah, it's just really enjoyable to watch.
Well, friends, we just lost power, so I don't know how much I'm going to be able to do around the house because everything on power's out. So I guess I can mop, but yeah, anyways, we'll see how much we get done today. But yeah, it's cold outside. We had a bunch of snow last night, and so who knows what's going on. It's been a while since we had the power go out. I was actually thinking the other day, or no, I was thinking this morning that it actually had been quite a while since we had lost power, like a year, over a year, maybe 2 years. Anyways, I need to anyways, I guess I can still mop and sweep and tidy things up. So let's keep going.
I could choose to complain and bemoan the fact that we always have dirt on the floor, or I'm always mopping, which I'm not, but you know what I mean. There's always something that needs to get cleaned or fixed or taken care of. And I was just thinking how it's a total choice to where I go in my mind with those things. I could think about what a mess it is, what work it is to keep things tidy. Or I could think about the 2 little kids that God has given us, or the husband that God's given me, and just think about what a blessing that is, what a gift it is. Even things like restocking the diapers, like not everybody gets to do that. Just how blessed we are with where God's put us. And so yeah, we're just thinking about all there is to be grateful for. Once again, when it was time to vacuum, my little turkey, he wanted to help, and it definitely made things go slower. But as soon as he got distracted, I was like, all right, let's go. Trying to do it as quick as I could. But he's such a good little helper. I don't mind going slower sometimes, most of the time, because I shouldn't say most of the time. On occasion, I don't mind going slower and having him help, just because it makes him so happy to help. And also just knowing that he's learning these things, and one day he'll be able to do it himself. Would love a good little capable helper. One thing I had meant to do in the extreme cleaning video I did last week, which I can link, I was going to clean behind the couch. I meant to do it last week, but I ran out of energy, ran out of time, and so today I was like, I feel really good, so let's see what all we can do, and I pulled the couch out. I wasn't too surprised. There was plenty of popcorn back there. One of the things we do is every Sunday night, we have popcorn for supper, and then we'll have something else with it for, protein and stuff. And we often will watch something while we eat it. So this is like the rare time we sit on the couch to eat. Typically we use the table, or except for during maybe postpartum, like in those early days after having had a baby, I'm on the couch a lot. And so that is where I hang out. Anyways, there wasn't a ton of stuff, just a bunch of popcorn kernels. One of the other things I had intended to do was to wipe down the couch. There's little bits of milk sprayed from the little girl when she was drinking her bottle, or when often I'll eat a snack on the couch or something like that during the day, and so especially if the little guys are on my lap or squirming around, stuff gets spilled or dumped or whatever. So this is just, I was just trying to get things that maybe like little bits of, I don't know, liquid that had dried or stuff that had smeared or whatever, you know, things that I hadn't initially cleaned up. Anyways, I was using some of my vinegar cleaner that I made. I believe I did a video of it. I can include that. But it works pretty good with getting the stuff off the leather. One thing I do, I probably should not do, is when I give the little turkey a snack, I'll just hand it to him and then he'll kind of walk around the house and eat it. Well, this is the remnant of one of those snacks. With cleaning the bathroom, I just grabbed a rag and decided just to wipe everything down. Started with wiping the sink and then I moved on to the toilet. One thing that had bugged me for a little bit with the toilet was there were some water stains higher up. You can't necessarily see it when you're just looking into the toilet, but if you get down then you can notice it. So I was trying to use some of this vinegar cleaner and I grabbed, this is after I had wiped down the toilet initially, I grabbed one of my old scrubbies that was getting close to falling apart and I took that with a glove and just really went in there trying to scrub some of that stuff off, which I got some off. But there's definitely more that I could do, but I got a good bit of it off and decided to call that good. Do you guys listen to stuff when you fold laundry? I think I was listening to a podcast by Homemaker Chic. They always really inspire me with homemaking, just with how they talk about the challenges there are to homemaking, but how it's such a gift and such a responsibility. Something that shouldn't be taken for granted, but also they talk about like getting your act together as a homemaker and doing the things you can to make homemaking smoother, make it more enjoyable, make it more of a delight than just the daily grind. So anyways, I was listening to one of theirs. I always find it super interesting. I think this time they were talking about preparedness and just being ready for stuff and just simple things like having a first aid kit or things that, I don't know, you just take for granted that like you're not really going to need, but something that you may need one day. Anyway, stuff like that. So it was just kind of interesting. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you enjoy other similar ones, if you want to see more of what we put together, be sure to check out the playlist at the end.
Well, thank you guys for coming and hanging out with me. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Maybe were motivated, encouraged to take on projects in your own home. Let me know what things you're going to do today, and I hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you guys next week.